Hello. Hello, friends. It's me, Cynthia, and Azalea, and Marty. And we are Green Girl Studios. And this is our Sunday edition magic hour. Azalea just yanked him up from a nap. So he is unhappy with the current situation. He's tired.
Next
Still resting. Oh, hello, Clem. Are you only on YouTube and not Facebook anymore? We are streaming to Facebook.
Yeah, we're streaming to our Green Girl page and our Green Girl YouTube.
And what about TGBE?
We're not allowed to stream to TGBE anymore.
Put the group in.
Yeah, I have to do that from my iPad.
Oh, I see. Hello, Karen. Hello. Hello, my friends. How is everyone? You know, it's cold here. As you could probably tell, I've got this thick vest on. It's not as cold as it was, but now I'm a little paranoid whenever there's the weather. I'm all like, what's it gonna do? Is it gonna storm? Hello, Deborah. Hello, Melanie. Hello, C. Gray. Hello, Deborah. So this is the giveaway tonight. This is my bunny, Velveteen. No, it's not a very creative name. But that rabbit was very velvety. The fur on that Rex rabbit was very plush. Hello, June. Hello. I like getting your card, June, with your family's faces on it. It was nice. Oh, hello, Diane. Oh, yes, it is a Happy New Year. Happy New Year, my friends. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, let's have a good year this year. Today started off on a kind of a wacky note, but today it turned into a pretty good day, wouldn't you say, daughter? We flipped it around, changed things around, did a little tidying, did a little this and that, some sketching, and I'll show what I was up to. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to flip this camera on and show you because it's easier than trying to be like, look at this. It'll be a little easier if I'm this way. All right, I'm going to flip this. Hello, my friends. Hello. I'm glad to see y'all here today. All right. I'm getting ready to switch. And I did it.
Yay.
Yay, I did it without assistance. So the other day, and by the other day, I mean, was that yesterday when we were doing some of these cards? Yeah. I am revamping my craft setup. I did a pop-up pretty recently, and during the pop-up, one of our friends that we know that is not involved in the craft industry was like, I don't understand your setup. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, what are these? So I had beads and bowls, not quite like this, but they're big, I have big platters of beads. And then I have things like, I have rolls of cord. And I'm like, hey, we can make necklaces for you. See, like I have cord, and it's, it's like make your own. And he was kind of like, but it was just a very different, the jewelry stores in the Asheville area are like, here's one ring on a shelf. This is one I made pretty recently. I set a cool quartz that had this rainbow refraction in there that some would say, hey, that's kind of like a flaw. But really, it was cut to maximize this. And I set it from the back. So I put in prongs, and this was a way you could do a cast bezel. So this is a silver ring, and I made it so that I could adjust it. Oh, Karen, are you doing a kit for TGBE? I'm making a bunch of kits. I'm making some that are going to have 4, some that are going to have, I think the most one I'm doing is going to have, 14? I'm doing several. I can never get them done before the fact. I don't know how people do it, but we're making them right up until like Friday. So I thought I would make some really beautiful cards. And this is a little smaller, I think, than what I would usually put for something like this. I think the one that I'm working on, you can blow it up a little bit. So maybe another 1/4 of an inch larger. And I'm going to put this into something like a cellophane. They have different kinds of cellophanes now that are biodegradable, so that they're not going to end up in the landfill. They're kind of like that rice paper on rabbit candy, and they eventually, if they get wet, I guess maybe it's cellulose. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to slide that in, and this is going to have different information on it. But this is, I'm such a perfectionist. This is like one of my what do they call it? Toxic traits. Like I'll make it, and then I'll I can do better. So then I was like, okay, what about if I made one that was like a sunset? I went outside yesterday, and the sunset was crazy how it was like peeking through the trees. And I did not get a photo, but I remembered it. So I'm going to show, since this is in first stage, I'll do a couple of them. I have some paper that Azalea cut for me, and I'm going to show the method to this. It's very easy and fun. Look at this. I made this a long time ago when I used to have a fish named Ipo. That's Hawaiian for small and round. I called his full name Ipo Monono because he was from Rain Garden Goldfish. And I made this little pin, but you know what? I only made the one. That's what he looked like. It's like kind of like a whale. So I did not make I just made this one. I never went and molded it or anything. We just didn't do anything. So I was thinking about making that into a pin. Is that too random and weird for everybody?
Marty is a fish.
I don't know if anyone would buy it. But you guys will see when I put the trees through this, it will look less like fire. Because it does kind of look like fire. I see that northern lights. All right, so let's just get started here. Let's do something. So what I have here, this is my handy dandy. This is my all-time favorite set. It's this is gouache, but it is in solidified form. That way you can take it with you. You can have the whole set of colors. And if you need more colors, I know I move things and everything else falls down. All right. So if you wanted to add to your colors, where's that set? Here, I just got these fairly recently. This is from, I think Golden makes these. Yeah, Golden Watercolors makes this set. And these are called, I guess you pronounce that core. I don't know, core. I was trying to pronounce that. I was like, how do I think that you're going to say that? But they're really bright, and you can mix this with gouache. The only difference between gouache and watercolor is that gouache is opaque. They put in like calcium carbonate or white to it to give it the opacity. Or, if it's depending on the whatever the pigment is, sometimes it has its like an opaque version, and they don't have to fill it out with white. But these are really high intensity colors. Let me do a quick, like a little swatch so you can see how these are. And I use this combination is one that I use on my paper dolls. Here's one here. If you've seen me at the Big Crafty or at the Little Crafty, you have probably seen these at my booth. And this is Marty reimagined as a botanical cat. Like if he turned into like a plant from another world, this is what he would look like, I think. And these are the paints that I use. So I use a mixture of both. And like the highlights, you can go in. The good thing about gouache is that you can go in and really pop in. Say if you don't do what they always tell you in watercolor class, which is it's like on repeat, they'll say, preserve your whites. You've got to preserve your whites, Thornton. What did I tell you? And I'm like, listen, I don't have to do what you say. I do what I want. And I see a comment from Pat, you buy the whites separately. So white usually, because people go through it, because you can mix it with any of these. And this set comes with this little set here, and you can squeeze a little bit into the corner or wherever. I made this little thing this was an old perfume container, right? This had from like the 90s. And I dug out the old perfume and I found some gouache that I think is the most opaque of all the gouaches. And it's the designer gouache from Winsor & Newton. And then I took some of the pigment powder from Culture Hustle and put some of that in. And I had a little bit of, what's it escaping me? Gesso. I put a little powdered gesso in there and I mixed it all together. And when it solidified and hardened, you can see how it has a cracker on the edge. It shrinks down, and then I refilled that so you get a nice amount. And I take this with me everywhere. If there's any interest in your own gouache pot, give me a comment, and I'll make some for my friends out there. I make them, like I make these for artist friends that I'm friendly with. Oh, you can see the mistake on this one. Look, I put this was supposed to be on this side, but I put it on, I put it on the wrong side. So that's going to have to be edited out of there for the next round. And I'm thinking of doing these as digital downloads because I get a lot of people from different countries asking if I ship to different places. And I'm like, you know what? It's paper. It's so easy to print. You take it to your local print shop and they can print it on watercolor paper and you could go on top of it. So anyway, let's get started with doing some of this, like some background. So I'm going to do this background real quick. I'm going to do like, what do you think? Not a sunset. What else was I going to do? I was going to do something hazy and
you
pretty.
You were talking about, like, the other day when we were driving on the Blue Ridge with Max on our way home from grocery shopping, the sky was, like, pink and purple, and the moon was very bright and small. But
oh, yeah,
that's all right. The little stars.
And I'll show how to do this, too, because this is really fun. I love pattern making, and this is some fun patterning. Dark paper is so delightful to work on. This is watercolor paper from Legion. I asked Azalea to cut some squares. She cut this into quarters for me, and it's black watercolor, cold press, and it's called Stonehenge, or Legion is the brand, and I get it from St. Louis Art Supply, or I think different places carry it. All right. I also have here some. This is mixed media paper, hot press. Now, hot press is good for when you want to do super detailed type thing.
That's my favorite type of paper, hot press mixed media.
Yeah, I would say so. Good paper is a good place to start. This is actually not super good. This is from probably like Walmart or something. I don't remember where I got this. I got this so I could do some tests, and I didn't want to spend a lot of money on it because it wasn't anything that was supposed to be precious, you know. Oh, Susan says, is your catfish bead modeled after Marty? No, my catfish bead was modeled after my cat Frick, who was 32 pounds at his heaviest. You heard that right, 32 pounds. And he wasn't fat. He was just big bone. I have a picture.
He was actually like a huge cat.
Well,
like
he was just a big cat.
Yeah, his head was like the size of my head at age 7.
I know, he was very big cat.
He was like a wild cat. He was large.
I had a collar that I put on him, and I'd take him to the vet because he seemed to feel more confident when he wore it.
Oh, the lion mane? The
lion mane. And people would stop me and be like, what kind of cat is that? And I was like, it's an American short hair. He's a little American. So this one, I started on Yupo paper, which is kind of a translucent I think it's a polyurethane. It's actually not even paper. But you can get some really tight details. And I did this with one of those Tombow erasers. They have a really fine, sharp point on them, and it's kind of fun because then you can make darks, and then you can lift out your lights with those erasers. It's fairly delightful to work with. So that's what you could do with a hot press paper. You can get no texture, and that's what you want sometimes. This one I did as an illustration. I was going to make a booklet for my crochet necklaces that I make, and so she's like, that was like an origin story. I don't know, I'm always coming up with stories when I'm making anything, even jewelry, it turns out. So anyway, I was telling this story in my mind of the person making all the necklaces. Of course, it's not me. It's this other character that I created. All right, let's get to it. So, oh, and this is fun. Like my ADHD is like really popping tonight. A friend of mine makes watercolors, and this person, oh, this is not from the friend that makes them. They sent me this sample and showed like, look how cool this is that they use these seashells. Isn't that neat? So then you can put it in your watercolor kit, and it just clicks into place. I use these. This is from Whole Foods, and they have a special on Friday nights for their oysters. And the insides of this one are really white, and they make good little bowls or palettes. So sometimes you can use them to mix if you need a little mixing area. All right. I'll show how bright some of these are. You can see they're really beautiful. All right, so here are the core colors. I'm going to make a little mini color wheel just to get us started, just to get things happening. Or I'll show this while I've got it out. You can see the, really see how saturated these watercolors are. Isn't that pretty? So sometimes I'll make a little dot card, but in this case, I'll just start it up here with this. So you can see some of these. These are from the core colors. And this is a good one too. So I'll mix some of these just to amplify the colors of my gouache, even though, here I'm going to show this. This is the equivalent of this color here. And you'll see a little bit of a difference. So one of them, you can see there's some light and transparency coming through. And this is from the core. This is from regular watercolor. This is from the Caran d'Ache gouache. And you can see there's very little light or paper showing through. They're very opaque. But you can intermix, though if you intermix, you have to be aware that sometimes it's too sheer to show up on like a tinted board. And it's funny, I just used a deep, deep purple, and it's showing up on screen as, on my screen, it looks a little blue. I don't know how it looks on your screen. I'm just going in order on this to kind of show some of these colors. Yeah, this one is not as, it's still very bright. But let's go and look at the one from, it's a little more, I don't know. Is that more saturated? It's hard to say. Yeah, when you're making a mess. So if my watercolor palettes is messy, you know what I do? I run it through. I'll just run this whole thing through water and then leave it to dry. This is kind of neat because this is a silicone. This is a silicone palette. It's weirdly rubbery. But the only thing I don't like about it is it seems like, I don't know if it's, I feel like it stains, and I guess that's okay. I guess it's not too much of a stain, but it stains, and you'll never get it. I tried to get this back because sometimes I can be weird like that, and I want my my palette to be tidy before I begin. It's like I have this whole set of rituals I have to do before I even start painting. Man, sometimes I annoy myself with that. It's like, why do I have to do this? Who knows? It's just something that I do. I don't know. Maybe it's a form of procrastination. Before you get to the good stuff, you have to go through all this other stuff. It's like when I was used to make egg tempera paintings, I made the paint from scratch. I used pigment, powders, and egg yolks. And I went through the rigmarole of sanding and polishing my boards and using all these layers of glue. And it took so long before you even started that I was like, you know what? I think I like the prep most of all, which I did. I mean, I like the paint, but, you know, the prep's kind of fun too. So there, I cleaned off all my palettes there, right there. And you can see that's pretty easy and fast. I did not have a frack, Cherie. I did not have a... My cat Frick was named from the movie Merlin.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Carolyn
says Southern Florida will be in the early 40s Monday. That's weird. That's like people going to be showing up in... I remember when it would get cold in Florida, and we would be like, it's the end of the world. It's the end of...
See everybody in like snow coats. And
oh my, it's so... Yeah.
It's like, that's a little bit goofy, bro.
Karen, I found egg tempera in tubes from Winsor and Newton. They were pretty good. It's easier than making it, that's for sure. Making your own egg temperas is like a labor of love, having to grind all that pigment.
How do you make that?
Well, I have my palette. Sometime I'll show y'all. It's kind of it's a process. It's definitely something that you have to grind your pigments, but you can't grind them too hard or you'll bruise them.
What
and
part
they'll
of
be
the
dark.
egg do you use?
Just the yolk. You don't use the skin around the yolk. You don't use the whites because that makes a different...
Do you use the yolk from like a raw egg, or do you?
Yes, it's a raw egg, and I kept mine in a little jar, and I kept it in the fridge. But I'm going to make the background for this one. I think I'll do kind of a cloudy sky. So you can start. I'll show some of this like regular watercolor right here to demonstrate how it's let's see, what do I want to start with? A little bit of this blue. You can't even really see it. Let's go to this blue. And this is the only time where you're going to say, oh, look, they have a gray. This is the only time in watercolor that you're supposed to get grays. If that's supposed to be this big no-no, and it turns out I love gray in watercolor with all my heart. I have several that I'm like, that I have one from Hortum. It's called Random Gray, and I love it. Oh, Karen, if it's I don't like it when my egg tempera smelled. At that point, I just toss it and get fresh. I know, isn't that beautiful? That's such a pretty color. So if I were to use this for a card, I would want to make sure that I considered how much of this would be trimmed, like your edges. You always have to think of stuff like that for production, unless it's a one-off and you don't need to make repros of anything. But if you do, you have to consider, hey, you need to make it larger or scan it so that you don't have to worry about that. Which I do. We scan everything. My friend Joanne, her husband or her partner is a like professional printer and has a print shop in the River Arts District. And he was checking out my cards and was giving me advice on how to get everything set up in preparation for printing, which is good. It's good information. Like I said, leave some registration marks, but in that way they don't mean it like mold making. It's more like cutting. It's for the trims. So I'm just randomly doing this. This is something, foreground is here. I'm probably going to do something with either trees or botanicals. and I'm making some patterns with little bits of color that I'm mixing around. And it's very spontaneous and fun. And if I hate it, you know what you can do? You can always wipe it off, soak it off. This kind of paper is really forgiving and thick. And really, I just love it. It's kind of like almost like fabric. One of the things I like to do is play with random kind of patterns when the water kind of breaks down the watercolor. So you get kind of interesting shapes. I'm going to add a little bit more to this, and then I'm going to dry it out with my heat gun. Let's see, maybe this needs a little bit more something. This won't be tidy when I'm done. I'm not a tidy painter. Even though I long to be a tidy painter, I'm just not. Yeah, I like that color. And you can do this as many times as you want to get your patterns that you like. All right, so this is a paint stripper. Got it at, I actually don't know where I got this. Probably like Home Depot or something. Yeah, this is a heat gun, but they call this a paint stripper because two settings, low and high. If you put this on high, this thing will catch fire. All right, now immediately put it on high. You're going to do it on low. Let's see, I bet I can tuck in a little bit of color in there too while I'm drying. It dries fast. You can see how fast it dries. And give you some ghostly shapes. I have a heat gun on like every room of the house. Then you got to keep this moving. If you don't, like I said, it'll catch fire. And it's hot. All right. All right, so you can see you almost get it almost, sometimes I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll just do like what I think is like a good landscapey type look, you know? So it could be like oh, does that look like a castle? Does that look like a tree line? Sometimes I don't have any idea what I'm going to do. But if you look in here, you'll see some patterns that are kind of interesting. So I'll use this as my diving board, I guess. All right, so to get this type of the way I showed you, I did this, but I kept layering on more and more color to get to this level of saturation. You can keep doing it until you're tired of doing it and you're ready to move on to the next layer. So right now, I don't think you can see as much as I do, but it's a very subtle gradation of granulation. They call it granulation because the water is getting in between the pigments and kind of breaking them down. So when I'm up close, you can see it. The light's kind of flattening it. Right there, that brown has a neat. I'm like, I love this area right in here. All that patterning. That makes me want to show this painting I'm working on. It's a little bit of a departure from my usual type work, but this is what I'm working on. So I found this silicone brush, and it's so weird. Look at all the different things you can get. And so I'm going to paint over this, and I use layer by layer, and I'll make some of this. This is like a mycelium network, and it's kind of like root systems. But it's the same way. You're blowing the paint on. You can see I use the heat gun to blow this around, and it looks just like roots. but I used a different brush on top of it so I could get some of this paint scraping action. Kind of fun. And then go on top with some other kind of, like, these are a little bit like dead or decaying plants. Kind of neat. All right, so one of the things, I'm just going to leave that because I like it, although I should go make a little bit lighter so things will pop on it. But all that can be done in digital with Procreate. But I like this gray. I wouldn't say usually I like a gray, but this one's kind of a warm, thunderstormy kind of coloration. Let me go in there with another round of this. And my brushes, they're not super nice brushes. They're just regular kind of bargainy ones because they get chewed up. This is an okay brush. This is from Prismacolor. Pat says, can you teach us that? Which part? Which part? The part I'm teaching right actively or a different time with the brush, the silicone brush? I just got it. I'm test driving it. So this is kind of like, now, do I like that? I don't know. See, if you don't like something, you can just go in and kind of fade it out. Maybe I'll go in with a little bit of this weird orange. See what's happening and drip that paint around. Mix and match. Oh, yeah, it's kind of like painting with a heat gun. Here, we'll do it again. Spin this down. Yeah, it's a little bit of a mess, but it's kind of fun too. I don't ever get tired of get all the extra. And you can use sponges. You can see the paint's already separating. You see in there? You get a little of that. And here's another thing that I like to do. This is how I got that Northern Light look. Grab some of this, calm it down with some brown. Watch this. It's a little bit of a mess, but it can be pretty cool. So let me see. Let's get a little bit of. All right, I'm going to heat it up again. And you can kind of aim if you want it to kind of swirl in a direction, you just let gravity do its thing. You could use salt with it. I've shown it before with salt, or alcohol is pretty fun. The alcohol works best on white paper. You can see it a little better. All right, so what I have here now is it kind of looks dark from the image, but if you were here, you would see that here's the contrast, here's the back side. So you can see that there is a lot of layers. See, when you don't see it next to it, it looks really dark, but bring in the actual paint and you can see that there's the 2 layers of gouache on there. And if you look close, you can see that there's a little bit of texture with how the paint's separated. It's really beautiful. All right, so now I'm going to get to some of the details. You can, one of the things that I like to do is make it kind of a misty sort of look. So I'm going to make a misty area right in here. So this will be my line. And I'm thinking, so I'm designing this with intention. I want to put something like a pendant or something right in here. So if that's the case, I want this to be fairly, I don't want to put a lot of detail here. I just want it to almost work as like a highlight, like a highlight's not the right word. The right word I'm looking for. And oh, here's another thing that I would do. If you have the lighter colors, you could do this. You could get a different brush. I'm going to spread this towards this direction. Get some pinks in there because that looks really pretty. All right, so I have some of this happening. It looks like kind of like a mess, but check this out here. So you could drag your brush in and get some more shapes. And it kind of looks like grass or something else. You know what else would work? I see y'all talking about paint or heat guns. One that works really well that I've had is an embossing gun. Oh, Tom is an excellent painter. We actually went to art school together. I'm gonna do this here. It says, I'll use an air can and take a big Liquitex acrylic white marker and spray the tip with the air can. It seals up the surface of the sheet with a nice surface. Gives it an ethereal look. Ah, I love that. I'm gonna try that. Thank you. Thank you, Tom. I remember seeing one of your paintings ages ago. I think it was in V Hall when you did that wonderful painting of the boxers. So much energy. And so you can see you can get, isn't this kind of fun? So you can get kind of almost like negative space happening. Although this will be subtle. When it dries, it's going to be kind of powdery looking. Like almost like undersea. All right, let me see. Get in here. We'll call this painting with a heat gun. Painting with a heat gun and gouache. I'm keeping it moving. I'm trying to be mindful not to set my stuff on fire behind it. Never set it on one. Just don't set it and then like watch it burn. That could be a cool effect too, but it's living on the edge. Yeah, it's very tempting to be like that. One spot's not drying. That spot's not drying. If that's the case, then I can go in with a paint marker instead of that water droplet that's randomly sitting there. We'll just get it. All right, it's getting a little bendy. The thing that's good about this paper, this is Stonehenge's Black Watercolor Cold Press by the brand Legion. This is a like fabric. It has a really good, I mean, it's awesome. I love this. And it didn't soak through the behind. It's good. So then you can go in and say you wanted to do, you're like, oh, I wish I pulled more of these darks in. Why didn't I pull more darks in? Here's what you do. You want to pop those back in. You grab yourself a little of the black. That's supposed to be a no-no. You're not supposed to use black, but you all know how I feel about rules and art. It means we're not going to listen. The reason they say that is because if you're using traditional watercolor and you're a beginner and you start putting black in, it can go muddy really, really fast. Like it can look like garbage in seconds. That's why a lot of times I'll say, just avoid it. But go on with marker after the fact, you know? All right, so this is where you want to get a nice fresh brush. This one is a 0, kind of a long bristle. They come in different lengths. Like this one is kind of a short, like a shorty. To do this, you want one that's about a 1/2 inch long. And what I'm doing is I'm just pushing down and I'm letting the brush make the lines. So one thing that's kind of fun is you can turn it different ways. And where you apply pressure is where you're going to get the thick and thin of your marks. So as I push down, it widens and I can get a tight bud at the end, like the connection point. It's kind of fun. And it's pulling in from the shapes that were previously made from this white hazy part. And so you can just go in and make different shapes. And if they don't look great, that's no big deal. You can cover it up. That's what's good about that. So I'm just pulling out my darks here. Yeah, Wendy, that's probably why we do get along. I have to have a bunch of rules. I hate it when people are like, that's not how you do that. It's like, listen, that's not how you do that. Let's not decide for all of us. We can decide for ourselves how we want to paint and draw and do. And so I'm just going to let that, it can just fade right into the background. And so I want more up here. Maybe I'll make it a little more blue. This is where using a fresh brush is good because you can get pretty clean lines. These aren't really fancy brushes. I tend to be hard on my fancy brushes or on any brush, so I tend to buy the ones that are not super great. But I will say having a super nice brush is one of life's little luxuries. I have several really good quality watercolor brushes, and they're like, I treat them like that scene. I don't even know what movie I was watching, but there's a movie where they're brushing their hair. This guy's like, this is my brush. I don't remember what this movie was, but it was like his special brush that he brushed his hair with. I was like, I feel that way about my sable watercolor brushes. And when I'm done using them, I dry them off. I put the little thing back on, keep them perfect. You know what would look good in here? I think some little fireflies would be pretty in there. Let's get some of that happening, a little glow. That white. So I'm going to pull that. Now remember my pendant, I want to keep that in mind. My pendant's going like right here, 3/4 of the way down-ish. So I don't want to put a lot of stuff around that or like busy that the pendant is going to like cover up. So I want to keep that in mind and think, this is where some of the light or like the highlight, all the action, like the business name, like Green Girl Studios on the top or maybe on the bottom. I haven't decided yet. But I'm thinking of all the little details that I want to put in. That's the tempting part, is your details, but try to do that where you're considering your design. So because this is a function, like this is not just like a pretty sketch. I'm going to use this as a card for my necklaces. So I'm making this a little glow. And you can see it's like very subtle. But you know what the best part is that you can go in after the fact and use more like highlights. You can get in there pretty tight and make it look good. Real pretty. And you know what my favorite parts are? It's so funny. Like you can't see the subtle difference here because of the way the camera kind of flattens colors out. But if you could see it, this is like a purple line and it's blending in, and there's these colors are kind of, they're more subtle in real life. And this is like they're kind of flattening. But I don't know. Lately, this is where I'm most interested, is making kind of botanical shapes. And I don't know, I could just paint vine shapes all day long. I'm going to make a few more. Maybe one up here. Little fireflies. Oh, thank you, Wendy. She says those lightning bugs are delightful. I'm trying. Okay, so far it's been almost like a push and pull of light and dark, but on a kind of more of a subtle scale. It's a little more on the grays. I'm going to pull some of this. Let me get in here and do a little bit of this action. I want to pull in some of this sort of patterning right in front. So I'm going to mix up some of this greenish color here. And the other thing about this is that if I mix a color and I mix it here, if I come back 3 days later, 2 hours later, this will still be the same. And all I have to do is re-wet it. So that's pretty nice. You can't do that if you have acrylic gouache, which they make now. And it's pretty nice, but it has its limitations. All right, I'm going to do, let's see, a kind of a fern shape right in here. So sometimes it's best to just let, like I'm resting my arm, just let that brush do its thing. So right there, you can kind of see it's very light. What I'm doing is making guidelines for myself. So I can go back in and do a little more on that. So I can make this little fern. You can see that? I think if you're not seeing very many fireflies, Bonnie, that could be if you are raking. They say not to rake. And I was like, no problemo. Done. And I haven't raked. My neighbors probably don't love that story. But there you go. I think Luna moths like to put their eggs in a leaf litter. So that you see that's like first layer. So if you go start light like this and you work on top of it, you can keep adding layers. And then say you're like, oh, I'm done with this part and you don't want to do it anymore, you can always get your iPad out and take a picture of it and bring all that goodie into Procreate. And then the party can continue in your room late at night. Although that sounds different than I'm intending it. Looks almost like seaweed. All right. And if you see, look, I'm letting the brush make these shapes. Like I'm just adding a little pressure and a little lifting up, and then you get that little leaf shape. To me, this is fun. I could do this all day long, making different kind of leaf shapes. And as I get closer to the foreground, I'm getting a little bit more saturated in my colors. And also, there isn't going to be anything down here. All the action, the piece is going to be here, so this will function as a pretty border. Yeah, I like that color. It's kind of almost like a mustard. All right, so it's looking really pretty. All right, y'all, don't forget to be hashtagging moon right there. Remember, check to make sure you don't have any spaces or it won't show up. No spaces, no caps, no exclamation marks or anything, just exactly as it is. And we will draw here. I just noticed the time. I've been doing this for 50 minutes almost. So I'm going to start wrapping it up so I can show you what I have. We have a few things in our live sale. Some of this is from previous sales. I need to move some of it. We've got Tucson in exactly, we're leaving in, what was it, Azalea, in 20 days?
Yeah, I think we're leaving on the 25th.
I have so much I'm excited about. Like we're meeting our friends. I'm so excited. How pretty that looks. And the best part is you just keep, it's almost like layers, but this is like, instead of digital layers, it's gouache layers. Oh, Sherry says, I love brushes. My good makeup brushes are from when I was 20. Well, if you have a good brush, that is something that you'll have forever. I mean, some of them, you might need you don't, like if you're using acrylics and it's, it just depends on what you're doing. It just depends. I have some brushes, like my egg temper brushes. That's a different type of painting style. I'm not painting in this way. When you paint an egg temper, you're layering stroke by stroke, and you're making almost like an embroidery of paint. And with that, you want a precision brush. And for those paintings, I use my fancy brushes. Those for sure, they get the special treatment. Very special treatment. It's looking good. And this is just kind of like a little halo effect on these little fireflies, kind of a little extra detail to bring it out. All right, maybe one last area. I'm going to change up the shape. I like doing this kind of grayed down. If you want to gray down any of your colors, just grab the opposite of it or what's close to an opposite. Kind of like with this green, I'll go with this sort of warm, like a burnt sienna color, and it'll gray it down and get you kind of an olivey shade that's pretty nice. Sometimes you don't want full chroma. It can be a little too busy. This is, I'm going to make this a little light. I make sort of a columbine flower or columbine leaf. And it kind of looks like a paw. A paw leaf. And so this is destined, I'm hoping to have these done fairly soon. I want to make a line of necklaces to put in some of the stores we were looking at in the River Arts District. Some of that's coming back, but and I say River Arts District, I should say downtown. It's kind of like that area is kind of messed up, so it's like adjacent, but not quite where it was, because all that is like I don't know how to describe it. I went riding my bikes over at Hominy Creek, and it looks really good. They cleaned up a lot of it. I was surprised at how good it looked. So things are coming back. Yeah, it's a kind of a paw shape. Oh, Azalea can't keep up with me when I do the list at the end, Wendy. I know everybody likes that when Azalea's doing the list at the end. She was scrabbling so hard to get that going. I think it was too difficult. All right, I'm going to put this away out of the area, and then I'm going to continue painting because, man, I'm into it. It's kind of fun. I encourage, if you want to get a set, this is a good one to get. It's one of my all-time favorites. This is a good one too. A little more pricey. Still good. Oh, look at this I was working on. I have it to the side. I didn't do the hair yet. That's cute. This is with acrylics. This is a resin piece, and this is felt behind. I didn't do the, it's supposed to be like a little mandrake, and then you put the hair, which would be leaves and things. That's sweet. Oh. I'm trying to read Clem's comment there. Very inspiring. Yesterday, I finally got around to painting with my purple sweet potato pigment. It's a painting of the sweet potato itself. I'm definitely a beginner painter, but will post on the gang page since the color is pretty wonderful. The sugar in the potato made the paint naturally glossy. Pretty cool and fun to play with. That's neat. That's
Oh, that's real cool, Clem.
Yeah, that's like, I have this book on making ink, and Max and I made acorn ink, and that was pretty fun. So I love that. I love hearing that when people making and doing.
I'm gonna need my little gouache tin refilled soon because I use it so much.
Oh, is that right?
It's almost empty.
I have some sterling cases that are like this big. If there's any interest in it, it would be so precious and wonderful for if you have a painter in your life. All right, little daughter, let's pass me that tray of goodies. I'm gonna walk this over here. Look at this is so I also use this is my dirtiest rinse brush, not as dirty and clean from what I drip my paints in. So if you have one of these, it makes life just so good for painting. All right, pass it over, little daughter. All right. Oh, I wish I had a felted background right now. That would have been good times. What do I have for my background today?
Oh, like to hold it up?
Well, just so it doesn't look so plain.
What happened to your little box?
I don't know.
We'll have Marty lay on the table and his belly fur can be the background. Belly fur.
Oh, Bonnie got one. She puts pills in it. I saved a bunch of them for the express purpose of filling them with gouache. All right, so I have some lockets. I'm going to take off my vest. I'm getting overheated. This vest is so warm and it has a heated inside, but now I do not need the heat. It's almost too much. All right, so I have this little guy. This is a nice little oval.
To prop that up.
Oh, you know, I don't need to do make it taller because I can make it taller with the zoom. So this is a board that, do y'all know Stephanie Sursich? Her dad made these and brought them to Bead and Button. And it's for beading on. So that's what this is for. They got kind of scratched up. But anyway. All right, so this is one of the pools of light lockets. They open by this little nut that's right here. And it's a split shank. So once it's past the opening part, it will open like this, and you can put different things in. Like this one is pretty shallow, so I would say this one would be good, probably 1 millimeter on this side and 1 millimeter on that, and you can put photos, one on each side. This type of thing is getting harder and harder to produce because they're labor intensive, and to make them nice, like the quality, it is a very skilled job to train. So I don't have as many as I did in previous times. So this is lot 307. This is 36. It's a lovely little locket. It's a good size. I picked out all the glass for this to be very small for this round. I really like it. Speaking of which, I have another one. This is an octagonal. You rarely see this size. I had a bunch. So I bought these originally to put my paintings in. So I do tiny paintings, and I have one. I wonder if Kate has the one I did of her eye. We were at a show probably 10, 15 years ago at a winery, and it was really boring, and there was very little traffic. And so I was like, Kate, sit still, let me paint your eye. And so that one was like this big. It was a big, like a big sheet. And it fit that watercolor. And the thing about this is optical glass, and it kind of magnifies. So it's about a 2-time magnification. They're really beautiful. I love them. Let me see. Do I have any more of those? Oh, there's one. Did you have more of those picked out, little daughter?
Of those lockets?
Yeah, it looks like you had 3 picked out.
Yeah, the quantities will be on the back of the tag.
Okay, so there's one big one.
Mine.
This one's 48, it's 303. This is a good size too. This is kind of a more of a traditional lockety shape. And it's pretty thin. If you're a painter, You could do something really beautiful and it would magnify. You could see the magnification level. And I have placed in this myself one thing that I love to do. I was looking around to see, hey, do I have any of that lichen sitting around? There's always lichen sitting around, but no, there's no lichen on this. Check out that piece of, that's a mushroom, that teal color. We'll leave it right there so we could admire it. Let me see. Some kind of flower seed pod. Let's see what it looks like. Really magnifies it. Let's see if I squashed it in there. What would happen? Well, it won't close because it's too thick. But if you had something thinner, it would work pretty well. Like fabric, like a little piece of embroidery would be pretty. One gal that I know does incredible embroidery, and she puts them in these. And I thought that was really good. So that's 303. Oh, so here are some things. I'm going to go through this now. All right. See, I'm going to get the lockety type things out of the way first. Sharon says, I have a lovely GG locket. I have to stop hoarding and start doing. Yeah, you can make gifts. You can, there's a lot of things you can do. Although when I say gift, I mean sell. So, although I have made them for gifts. I made the one for Kate for a gift. So this one is silver plated copper or brass, and it has a beautiful brown eye. It's kind of similar to your eye, little daughter. And it has the little balls as the eyelashes. Now, several of you have messaged me and said, hey, do you have XYZ color or the teal green? I have a pile that I put aside, and I'm collecting them for one of you out there have asked me. And so that's why this is brown one, because I took all the green ones and they're in a pile on my desk. So this is lot 126. If you're interested in this beautiful eye-shaped pendant, really beautiful. Yeah, it's one of my good sellers at the craft shows that I do. But you know what would be really pretty with this? I just saw this over there and I was like, you know what? I'm going to make myself this. I buy this at the gem shows, but this is silver as a small bead. They call them charlottes or cornless cubes. And that would make it really, actually even a higher or a thicker one would be really pretty. So that's one idea for that. And that was $126 and $38. All right, the next thing, I haven't made this one in a minute. This is a Shibuichi pendant. I don't know, do I have the other one here? Y'all are going to love this. Do I even have it? It's downstairs. So I have a necklace that's my one that I have made a long time ago, and I did when I was doing this kind of what do you call this, wire work. I made a necklace and I put a bird girl in it. So this is a Shibuichi, and you could see easily how this would be so beautiful. Oh, Cherie, I'm going to have those printed. I would never be able to sell my necklaces and do a card on it and like do all that work. That would actually be pretty. Check that out. It's a little dark. But anyway, that's what I would do with that. That's one of those octopi. Check that out. So this is 314. It's pretty deep. You could do a polymer carving in there. Nice. All right, okay, so now we have a few other things here. Oh, Azalea, I didn't know this didn't sell. What? So I bought, this is probably 5 or 6 months ago. I thought all these sold. If I'd known that was sitting there, I'd have kept it. This is lot 258. This is a pink quartz in what's called the Millennium Cut. This was in a strand of 5. This was one of the medium ones, and it's pretty awesome. Check that out. It's a perfectly tinted rosewater clear rose quartz pendant. It's drilled top to bottom. See, there's a pretty good hole, and that's yeah, it's beautifully drilled. It's not all like, like well, sometimes when they drill it, it's like this way, and then it comes in that way, and then you can see it. This is perfectly done, and this is 258. Actually, I'll do a little bit of a discount on this because I've had it for so long, but I'm not gonna do too big of a discount because I kind of hoping I'll just look at that. You could either do it this way, man. It's almost opal-y, I think, or kind of like the Vaseline opal. So I'm going to put that at, where's that marker? So they do this, they weigh these by the gram. That's how they price this. So that's not, usually this is not sold by strand. So it's like the gram weight on that. All right, so that's 40 if anybody's interested. 258, a Millennium Cut water clear rose quartz bead. It's gorgeous. It's 258. Oh, so this is a little troll, or no, why did I say troll? That's a gremlin. That's a little bronze gremlin. This is from the original 6. So when we make a mold, we will save 1, make 6 for our pewter mold. So this is one of the 5. We didn't make a bunch of these. That was it. So I had them sitting. There's 1 left at 18. I think I'll just keep it at 18. That's pretty good. These are kind of, that's a lot of work to make that. That's 331. If you want this little gremlin, what's his name? Not Fizzgig. What's his name? Gizmo. There it is. Gizmo. If you want a Gizmo, it's 331. Oh, and I have 2. We'll put these at 18. So this is part of that original. That's a part of that original 6. We have 2 of these. I'm gonna drop it to 18 for you. You want a troll? Y'all know how I love a troll doll. I have 2 of them. $18. How charming. The cord just fell right out because it wasn't even attached that well. But he's got a nice size hole through there. You get chain. You could do, actually, what would be so super cute? Just put that on a little cord and make a purse charm right there. Charming. So charming. This is one I crafted for my friend Diane, but it's a honking piece of sterling, and she had a bunch, so she didn't mind if I sold some extras of this that came out of the mold. This is a very thick, beautiful piece. It has a little desert dog on the back. What do they call that? Coyote. There's a moon. Look, a little rabbit I put in there. Let me see what else I put in there. I feel like I tucked some other things in. Some agave. And you know what? If you look really close, I was like, I know I put an owl in there. Look right there. There's a little burrowing owl right in the bushes. So this is 330. 55. It's a lot of silver on that. Heavy duty. This would be an excellent Sundance, Tucson type. So it's supposed to be Joshua Tree. That's what this is. It's just an image of Joshua Tree. I will probably not make more because this was the extras from my friend's, her private. She had me carve this for her. Oh, wow. This is going back a minute. If anyone know my friend Bob Burkett, this is taking it back. This is from my personal private collection of his work. This is Shibuichi. It's a lion. I don't think he makes stuff anymore. But, sometimes you need to sell some of your goods to make the bills get paid. So this is lot 315. It seems steep, 110. But you know what? I think that's what I paid for it way back in like 20 years ago. So he made limited runs of this. So this was not a mold that he cranked out a ton of. He probably did a limited number of these. I don't remember ever seeing a bunch. I think this is probably, I don't know. I know that he doesn't make them anymore, and that's a fact. All these molds, if they were ever a mold, are now at the bottom of the Antioch River in California where his boat sank. So when I say these won't be made again, they won't be. And it's pretty cool because there's a lot of holes along the side. And I'm only parting with this one because I bought 2. I have another one in my collection. And I was going to seed bead embroidery on it and mount it to something like a belt buckle or something. But anyway, if you're interested, it's $315. Lot $315. Oh, this is cute. I only have one. And it's a Shiba Inu. If anybody has a Shiba Inu, this is a perfect little charm for you. $26. This is $336. This is my dog, Suni. Her full name, Kitsune dog. That dog was like Azalea's like special companion from her whole life. The cute thing about a Shiba Inu is that they were little. They called them brush dogs because they would scare the ducks and things out of the brush. They're very smart dogs. So that is a little Shiba Inu. Has a little cinnamon bun tail. They come in sesame, orange, brown, I think white and black. Very cute. All right, here's another thing I have here. This is a little branch, a coral branch. I love specimens and botanicals. And I made this kind of for, I wanted to make something that was a link. And, I love making things that, like I throw in a link wherever I can when I'm working. This one doesn't have it. Let's see. I got all these necklaces hanging up behind me. Oh, here we go. This shows that link action. So I love throwing in links and things to connect areas. And so if you have this as, you could have it as a dangle. You could have it as a link to have like 3 beads or something. Let's see. That would be pretty. Say you had it on the other side. I'm just grabbing what's on the desk here. But like as a connection point, it's really pretty. And this is Shibuichi. It's beautifully detailed, little barnacles on it. Let's see, what's the price on it? Oh, I dropped it to $22. This is $5.87 if you're interested. And the highlights will turn this kind of a peachy rose color. You can see that's the natural metal. It's a copper and silver alloy once used for the hand guards on a katana. I can't remember the name of that word, but that's what originally this was designed for because it's extremely hard. If this didn't cast completely open, we would have to toss it back because it's so hard. There's no drill bits that will actually go through and penetrate that. You break 5 drill bits before you even got halfway through. Oh, so I look like this one got marked down. This is from when, a long time ago, I used to do the miniature shows. So I took this to the Tom Bishop show in Chicago. Let me see, Azalea's 20 now. Let's see. This actually, I sold these at the Royal Kensington collection. I had a shelf. It made it into the Miniature Society in London. I was so proud. My section that I had was about this long, but it was still a huge honor to be included with all the other miniaturists at the time. So this is one of them. I turned it eventually, the pendant, into a bead. So if you've seen the pewter pendant, this is where that came from, is this. So if you can imagine, it was in a dollhouse. That's originally what I made that for. Okay, I have 2 of this little bear. This is a little bear. This is my bear. It's like a Gap bear from like the 90s. $22. It's $3.32. I have 2 of them. Check out that little tail. It's round. It's stout. Look how cute his face is. It's like the cutest bear ever. I mean, it's not as cute as Teddy Tail's bear. You know the one. Azalea got one for my birthday. And I love it. It's the most adorable bear in the whole world. But this is a cute second. Oh, there it is. Wendy's got the word. Tsuba. T-S-U-B-A. Tsuba. So there's 2 of them if you would like one of these little bears. You know what I saw all day long at the Big Crafty? You guys would not even believe this. Or maybe you would believe it. But people were doing purse charms, and they kept coming up to my table and showing me theirs. And they were hooking them onto their belt. I was like, I got to take a picture of this and show my friends. They're not going to believe it because it's so cute. Oh, so I had some of these. There must have been extras. I use these. You all know I use these on my necklaces. This is a little star silver. Perfectly good for treasure necklace. This is 413. I have one right now. If there's ever, I'm always making these because I make them for my personal necklaces. It's one of my favorites. That's 413. And you know what? If you've seen eyes when people put these on a closure, there's a reason. It's to watch your back. It's the divine keeping an eye on your back. That's what that is. That's one of the things that I made it for. I saw it on a necklace at the Smithsonian, and it was an ancient, it was an ancient necklace from like Persia or something, and it gave me the idea a long, long time ago. Oh, here's one of these cute little tiny silver skulls. It's drilled through the side, and that's the face. You know what I made this for? There's an artist in Japan that makes these carved pearls, and I wanted one real bad. But of course, those skulls were like, $500, and then they put them on a ring like this, and then the wire goes through here, and the wire was then made to look like a bow tie. It was so cute. Anyway, I made my own version. This is $322. It's $24. If you would like to recreate that action yourself, that's right here, $322. Oh, it looks like I have some of these on. This one was marked down to $14. That's a pretty good price. This is a bronze. This is one of my toggles. It's a little mushroom, $9.84. It's got the texture on the top and then a little bit of the gills. It's a pretty nice piece. You work this like this. This is how you would do this. So this is those seed beads. I'd go a little bit bigger dimension, I think. So that's how that would look. That's how I would use it. So then you pull it towards you like that, slip through, and then go. So it could be go this direction or this direction. All right, I have, this looks like a little Shibuichi. This is a Celtic dragon. I am going to mark this one. Let's see, 28. Let's go 20. That's Shibu. And actually, the way you can tell is you can polish it. And if it goes, let me see. See that color? That's kind of a rosy pink. Generally speaking, bronze will go more yellow. You see the difference? You can see it especially like on this side of it. It's a different color and hue. Even though they're similar metal, the little bit of the silver in that adds so that it is a nice hard metal. Let me see what I have it at. I'm going to mark this one. This is 316 at 20. We'll do 24 on that piece. All right, I have some of these sets now. I have a few of these sets. Let's see. I don't know if folks are interested, but I bought these in Tucson a while ago, and it's kind of neat. When I say they're kind of neat, I'm fairly obsessed with them. I don't know how y'all will feel about it, but I have a pair. These are carved in bronzite, the same material that they were originally carved in. So they're little animals. So they carve these. Where's some polymer clay? I'm going to show you what they print out like. It smells like garlic. What's garlicky smell in here? Okay, let's check this out. Of course, I pick out the one thing of polymer clay. It has to be like the most dried out clay of all. Okay, come on, don't be dried out. I guess this is dried out too. Let me see if it'll still work. You can't even see it. It's supposed to be a horse or something. Let me see. That's too hard. Anyway, they make paint from bronzite. I have some Primatech paints. This is 310. I hand picked out all the animals. Usually they make heads. So this is you can see that. It's some kind of like a horse. That one looks like a little gazelle. So this bronzite pair is 310. The number is 310. Let's make this, we'll say 18 on this. 18. And then this one we'll do at 18 as well. I have one more. I know I have a couple more. I had a bunch. I bought the full strand when I was in Tucson. This one has a little, how cute this one is. There's 310, 308, and they're all a little bit like they're shaped so that it's like, you could actually, you know what I could do? And now that I think of it, it'd be really cute. You could do like either bronze clay or silver PMC and press those. But my original intention was to put that on a treasure necklace because it's like an ancient artifact. You know, that's how they made them right here. This is exactly how they were done. All right, and I have one last thing to show. Or no, I don't. Oh, I forgot about these. Okay, so I have a little ruby kit. Check this out. Check this out. So these are little rubies. They call that when they have this, it's like a star ruby, but they're cut where when it has that shimmer across the top, you don't usually see this in a bead. This is usually as a cabochon, which is why I bought them when I saw them, because I love them with all my heart. So this was on a strand like this. It was sold by the gram. Came with, this is some sapphires that are with it, aquamarine, and moss aquamarine. You know, you can tell the moss aquamarine has those little, it looks like little flecks of gold, and the color is a little bit blue. Like this is the normal shade of it. When you get that mossy color in it, those inclusions give it a really beautiful look. I feel like, you know what, I think it's actually more expensive than regular aquamarine. But anyway, this collection, lot 173 is 50. But if it was an earring kit, that would be pretty luxurious, because I would put one of those on a necklace, maybe like, I don't know, they're really gorgeous. All right, I have one more thing to show. Been sitting on this one. So I have this gal. Wow, Azalea has her at 60. So let me see, is this bronze? It kind of looks like bronze. It looks like Shibu Ichi.
I'm pretty sure it's Shibu.
Yeah. It's pinkish. 466 on this lovely fairy. I make this in 2 parts. She has to be done in 2 because the body is in 1, and then the mold has the wings attached after, like in the wax, and so you have to go in and attach them. So they're kind of labor intensive to make. I thought of her as more of like a sculptural piece, like a little bit of like an Art Nouveau statue. And in times past, this piece was the one that I'd made, and I did a strand of like this with sapphires, and it was one of the things that was stolen off of my booth at the To Be True Blue show. That actually upset me so hard I had to take a moment, because it took so long to do all this, and I'd had it priced pretty high, and someone stole it. I was so upset. And so I have a little hole in the foot area so that you could dingle dangle right between the feet, right between our arches. I had a little thing hanging from there so that it had let's see, where'd that one thing go to demonstrate it? Could have a little like gemstone dangling right at her foot. That'd be pretty. Anyway, that's what I had on mine. I had briolets of sapphires and then one big one at the end. And you know what, this gal, she tried it on like 6 times. And I guess the price was too high. So she just, came back when I wasn't there and walked off with it. I suspected this gal. But anyway, that was, sorry to share it, like kind of a negative story. But it was one of my best necklaces that I've made. So that was like my showstopper.
Maybe you could recreate it in better now.
Well, I think I might try to recreate it. So that's 466. All right, my friends, I'm going to flip this camera around. Oh, shoot, giveaway. All right, so I have, let's see what I have here today.
You guys need to spam the hashtag.
Yeah,
hashtag moon.
Hit it again, just in case. There's no reason not to. It's not a long hashtag. Is I was like, it's cold. Well, this room is the attic is not insulated, so we're getting really good at bundling up. All right, are you almost ready to see what's what?
All right, let's do it.
Oh, now listen, we have a. Oh, is I was going to do. Well, let's concentrate on this. Split screen. Is it splitting?
It's just sharing it. Bonnie!
Hey, Bonnie! Hey, Bonnie Francis!
Comment if you're still in here, Bonnie. We will give her a minute.
Yeah, if you're here, Bonnie. I believe I saw her comment not too long ago.
Yeah, I think so too.
We're giving her a moment.
Yeah, she's here.
Yay!
Thank you.
Thanks for playing, y'all. That was fun. So, we will add this to your order, Bonnie. If you have an outstanding order, or we'll send you an invoice for just to cover the shipping.
All right, you ready for me to switch it?
Switch it up. And you can write that down for Bonnie for the giveaway on that. Here you go. You'll remember it. All right, my friends. Today we learned a little bit about painting on the dark and giving kind of a more subtle than the firecrackers that I was painting last time. All right, so don't forget this Friday. We'll be going live again on Wednesday, but Friday is special because it's TGBE time, the Great Bead Extravaganza, that which kept us all in business and alive and kicking during 2020. We are really grateful that we're still going strong after, 4 years. This midsummer or midwinter market will be our 4th midwinter market. And we have a fun thing. I'm going to do a quick tutorial on leather hatband wrapped with nylon. It doesn't sound like that's going to be that interesting, I know, by the way I'm describing it. But on 2:30 on Sunday, I'm going to show you how to do that. And I'm also going to do a live sale. We're going to be making silver all this week. We're going to be making some unusual things. I have a bunch of wax on my desk that is, I think you all will really like. I don't want to, make any assumptions, but I think you'll like it. So join us for that. On Friday night, there's the preview party, which is always fun to see everybody together. You never know what Christy's going to say,
Ding dong.
She's always fun. You never know what's going to happen with Kate when you get all of us friends together. It's magic happens. It's all that energy, all that creativity. It's fun. So join us Friday. I think Nile is doing a trend report. I'm going to try and get on there with him and see. I do a lot of these shows and I see what all the young folks are wearing. So I think I could chime in on that trend report. So let's do that. And y'all, you guys be safe out there and all this kind of weird weather. We will see you on, and there is a schedule. There's a schedule for the TGBE. It's on is it on the group page? They always if you go to the group, the banner on the background banner usually has the schedule. If not, I'll post it in the group again. All right. Thank you, my friends. Y'all have a great weekend, rest of your weekend, and we'll see you on Wednesday.
Good night,
Bye,
everybody.
friends.